Hi guys, welcome to Justice Computing class. My name is Justice Joseph Kofi Kabi. I hope you are all doing well and I hope you are all preparing well for your exams. Yes, in today's episode, I want us to look at some of the topics that we are expecting questions to be set on this BECE 2021. So if you are having your pen and your jotter with you, please kindly take note of the following topics and prepare very well as you prepare towards this upcoming BECE. Yes, so if today is your first time of watching this channel, please kindly subscribe, press the notification bell so anytime we upload a new video, you'll be notified. So please let me take you through the topic. Please don't forget to subscribe. All right, so the first topic here that we are supposed to pay more attention to is the first one is a part of the personal computer. Part of the personal computer. We talks about the hardware component, what is hardware, what is software, hardware component of the computer, that's keyboard, mouse, system unit, and monitor. Are we okay? And what is computer itself? Keyboard, the type of keyboard that we have, all consist on parts of the computer. Peripheral devices, all this input, output, and all those are part of the computer. So please let's take note of that one. Then the next one is basic input and output system, or basic input and output devices, basic input and output devices, which means that the examiner can ask you questions like what are input devices or what are output devices. Examples of input devices, are we okay? Examples of input device like scanner, microphone, keyboard, mouse, light pen, joystick, they are all examples of input devices. Then when we come to output device, we have projector, speaker, monitor, and all that. They are all examples of what? Output device. So please take note. Know the definition of input devices and know the definition of what? Output device, with some 5 examples, each of them for each. Then we come to storage devices. So we have to what are storage devices, examples of store or types of storage devices, and the difference between storage media and a storage device. So please take note of that one too. Then we look at switching on and off the computer, switching on and off the personal computer. So for this one, know what is booting, know the step of how to shut down the computer, or the step how to turn on the computer. Make sure you take note of all that one too. So be very careful. So now you have to make sure that you should be able to identify some of the symbols. The symbol when it comes to the restart button, the button of the symbol, the turn off, and so on and so forth. Please, you should be able to identify those signs or symbols when it's being given to you to what? Identify or write their names. So take note of that. Then we have the graphical user interface. For the graphical user interface, you're supposed to know what is desktop. The steps involved in how to change your desktop background, or how to change your desktop wallpaper. Please, so let's take note of that one too. And when you come to that one too, you should know some features of the desktop. Are you okay? Features of the desktop. For instance, we have taskbar as one of the features, even wallpaper as one of the features, and we have the start button as one of the features. So we should take note of that. And examples of default icons on the desktop. Examples of default icons on the desktop. For instance, that is my computer, the recycle bin, my documents, and so on. They are all default icons on the computer. Even Internet Explorer is also one of the default icons on the computer system. Then we come to file and folder management. Files and folder management. For this one, for this topic, you are supposed to know the difference between a file and a folder. The difference between a file and a folder. Then you know, also take note of the steps of how to create a folder on the desktop. The steps of how to create a folder on the desktop, and know how to rename a folder on the desktop, and how to move a file into a folder. So all those things, you know the steps of how to do that, and the steps involve how to move a file from one folder to the other. All those ones, take note of those ones too. Now the next one is ethics in using ICT tools. So some of the rules and regulations when it comes to use of the ICT tools. So you have to know all those ones too. So take notes and refer to your textbook. Then we have integration of ICT into education. Integration of ICT into education. For this one, you should know how ICT has enhanced teaching and learning specifically in education. So you should know those things. For instance, how ICT has helped us to, so for instance, when they ask you how the importance of ICT in education, it helps students to learn at their own pace, it makes learning interesting, and all that. So please take notes of that one too. And the next one, the basic typing skills development. Basic typing skill development. For this one, you know the appropriate fingers used to type appropriate keys on the keyboard. For instance, this is the left little finger, the left this one is the left ring finger, the left middle finger, the left index finger, and the thumb. And this one too, that's the left thumb, the right thumb, the right index, the middle the right middle finger, the right ring finger, and the right little finger. So if you know all the appropriate keys that are used, in case you are asked to identify or write the appropriate keys to type the following keys, you should know this is your left and this is your right, the appropriate keys. So please take note of that one too. Then we come to review of the mouse skills. Yes, you should know how to draw the computer mouse and label the part. For instance, the computer mouse has 5 parts, which is the right mouse button, the left mouse button, the scroll wheel, the body, and the cord or cable or wire. So these are the 5 main parts of the computer mouse. And when we come to the types of computer mouse, we have the mechanical mouse, we have the optical mouse, and we have the cordless mouse. So please, let's take note of that one. And also, you should know the definition of what a computer mouse. You should know the definition of what a computer mouse, and know some of the function of the computer mouse. Normally, students do interchangeably confuse themselves with the uses of the computer mouse with that of the function of the computer. When we talk about the function of the computer, we are talking about it is used for selecting, it is used for clicking, it is used for double clicking, it is used for dragging, it is for, are we okay? But when we come to the uses of the computer mouse, for instance, for playing computer games, are we okay? Even though you can still use it when it comes to explanation, when it comes to the use of the computer, but you have to be very careful when the question comes in, the function of the computer mouse. If you see this word, function of the computer mouse, then please do not deviate from the question. Can it go straight forward? For clicking, for double clicking, for dragging, are we okay? For pointing, for selecting. These are the functions of the computer mouse. Then when we come to the next one, the word processing document. Word processing document. For the word processing document, you should know what is word processing application. Normally, students you say it is used for typing. No. If you said the word processing application is used for typing, then what of the keyboard? And even the keyboard as a candidate preparing for B.E.C.E, you can't just say it is used for typing. Do you understand? But rather, it is used for entering data into the computer. Are we okay? But let's come back to word processing application. So please, in case you are asked to define what is word processing application, or what is word processing application, the definition of word processing application, it is used to create, edit, and format text-based document. It is used to create, format, and edit text-based document. So please take note of that. You should know the examples of word processing application that we have. We have the Microsoft Word, we have the Notepad, we have the WordPad. They are all examples of word processing application. Then we come to the text, formatting text in word processing application. Now, I used to tell my students that anytime you want to format a text, the first thing you're supposed to do is what? To highlight the text. Are we okay? To select the text. That's the most important thing, because if you don't select the text, there wouldn't be any effect on the text in terms of formatting. Are we okay? So the first step to take is what? To format the text. So you should know some of the features that are used for formatting text: bold, italic, justify, underline, and all that. They are all examples. Line spacing, and align right, align left, align center. They are all examples of what? Formatting tools on the formatting toolbar. Then we should know the types of toolbars. So the next one is toolbars. We have the scroll bar. We have the formatting toolbar. We have the standard toolbar. We have the word art toolbar, and so on and so forth. So we know the examples of toolbars, and also you should be able to identify the features of these toolbars. For instance, specifically formatting toolbar and the standard toolbar. Normally, I'm actually expecting a question this year on these toolbars in case they will ask you to label the part. So take note of that one too. Then we come to the use of the drawing toolbar in word processing application. The drawing toolbar, you should know the part. I think last 2020 there was a question. Oh no, that one was paint application. Yes, that was paint application. So I think there's we're actually also expecting question on the drawing toolbar to this year in case it comes as a practical question. Then the next one, inserting pictures in word processing application. You can insert the picture by copying the picture and pasting it in word processing application, or you can go to the insert and click on what pictures to upload the pictures direct to the word processing application. You should know the steps involved of how to insert pictures in word processing application. So please kindly refer to your textbook and refer and prepare well as you prepare towards your BECE. Then the next one is printing a word processing document. Printing a word processing document. For this one, you should know the steps involved of how to print a document. Then two, now we have something called what is printing. Now printing, you should know the definition of printing, or what is printing itself as a question. So it's the art of changing a soft copy document into what? Hard copy document by the help of the printer. You should know the types of printer that we have, or the type of the type of printers that we have. For instance, we have the impact printers and non-impact printers. Specifically, under those, we have examples of impact printers and non-impact printers as something that we actually treat, which we're supposed to learn under a part of the computer. So that's the first topic. So please kindly take note of that one too and prepare very well. So as this one, printing tool, you should know what the full meaning of that's the WYSI something. So that's what you see is what you get, and you should know what is print preview. It displays how a document will look like after printing or when printed. Are we okay? So that was print preview. You should know all that and the steps involved for how to print preview a document. So please take note of that one too. Then from there we come to creating a word processing document. For this, then for this one, you should know how to save a document on the desktop or any other location. You should know the steps involved for how to save a document. And secondly, too, you should know the process, the features of the word processing application, so that you can use it in terms of formatting. Okay, this one specifically what creating a file in paint application. Creating a file in print application. That's the next one. Creating a file in paint application. So now in the paint application, I think there was a question that came for your seniors this year, that the paint application dialog box came and they were asked to label the part. So specifically, I don't really have a strong feeling that it will be repeated again as practical, but definitely to come as a theory question for you to answer. So please, when you're preparing, can you prepare well? Very, very well. Then we come to internet and the World Wide Web. So the internet, you should know the definition of the internet. You should know the advantages and the disadvantages of the internet. That's merit and demerit of the internet. You should know the definition for internet again. You should know the definition of internet, and you should know some of the protocols, like for instance the HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, the SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, that's the IP, Internet Protocol, and all that. You should know all that in case it comes as an abbreviation for you to answer. And you should know what is protocol. You should know what's protocol, so that you'll be able to respond to any question at all, so that you will not have any surprises. Then from there we have tools used to access the internet. Tools used to access the internet. When you come to the tools used to access the internet, we are talking about modem, router, telephone, computers, and so on and so forth, even tablet to access the internet. So you should know devices that are used to what? Devices that are used to access the internet. Devices that are used to access the internet. And now the next one is what? Using the internet to communicate. Using the internet to communicate. That is where protocol and those things comes in. You should take note of this topic too. Definitely, most of the times when they set question, internet questions do come in, so that you'll be able to come to, when it comes the way, it shouldn't be a surprise question for you. Have an idea of it, so that you'll be able to answer it. Then the next one is search engines. You know the definition of what search engines. You know the examples of search engines that we have, and so forth, like the types of search engines. Google is one of the search engines. Then we come to introduction to spreadsheet application. This is a topic that generally they do set questions on, which means that 80% 80% assurance that definitely they will set questions on spreadsheet application. So I always urge you guys to make sure that when you are learning, know the features of the spreadsheet application. Know specifically first, know the definition of spreadsheet application, and also know the features of spreadsheet application. Know the types of spreadsheet application. For instance, Lotus 123, Quattro Pro, Google Sheets. We have B.E.C.E. Calc. We also have the Apple iWork number, then so on and so forth. You should know the simple types of spreadsheet application and also the features. For instance, name bars, formula bar, cell, active cell, and you should know the definition of all the, like for instance, the cell. You should know the definition of the intersection of rows and column, the how do you call it, the name box displays the name of an active cell. The formula bar displays the content of an active cell. Are we okay? So we should take note of all these ones so that when we are preparing, we'll prepare well and get one in ICT. I still believe in you that through this preparation, you will still get one in ICT. It all entails in discipline and also taking note of the terminologies anytime you are explaining ICT or you are actually giving an answer to an ICT question. Please don't forget to subscribe. This is the end of the topics that I want to take you through. I want to brush through the topics again and mention the topic if you want to jot them down. So the first one is what? Parts of a personal computer. The second one is basic input and output devices. The third one is basic storage media. The next one, switching on and off the personal computer. The next one is graphical user interface. The next one is file and folder management. We have the information processing cycle. We have the health and safety in using ICT tools. I think this one escaped me. Health and safety in using ICT tools. So please, let's take note of this one. Health and safety is very important. That's where the prolonged use of the ICT, the effect that it will have on you. For instance, television, the prolonged use of the television set will affect your eyes. The next one is ethics in using ICT tools. We have the integration of ICT in education, basic typing skills, review of mouse skills. Then we have creating word processing document, editing a word processing document, formatting text in word processing document. Then we have toolbars, the use of drawing toolbars in word processing document, printing a word processing document, creating word processing document, creating a file and paint application. Then we have creating internet and World Wide Web. We have the tools used to access the internet. Then we have using the internet to communicate. Then we have accessing and sharing information. Then we have the next one, search engine, and last but not the least, introduction to spreadsheet application. Thank you very much for watching, and if you are still watching and you've not subscribed, please kindly press on the notification bell and share and comment. Leave your questions under the comment section below. Definitely you are facing some challenges whilst you are preparing towards your BECE. Please kindly leave your questions, any questions at all that you are facing challenge with. Please leave it among the topics that I've listed now. If you have any problem with any of the topics, my contact is on Facebook. You can contact me at 02499113338, or you can also chat me on the same number. Let's send me your questions, and I'm glad to help you and for you to pass your BECE. Please kindly subscribe to my channel and stay tuned. Next episode we have revision mock 6.